Hello and welcome to the last episode of WTV. I'm Scott Hastings.
And I'm Marilyn Sexton. We've been working hard to bring you some great stories this week, but first we go to Christian Roach at the news desk. Thanks, Christian. That food crawl ever looked tasty.
Did it ever? I understand you've got a story about what advocates for sexual assault victims want people to know in light of the Jian Ghomeshi trial.
That's right. We also have a story about a new place to take rolls of film for developing. Time for a quick break, but first Andreas Porras tells us what's new this week on our Waterfront TV website.
Good to know so much help is available to victims of this crime.
Yes, I really learned a lot from that story.
Now it's time for the segment we call Break It Down. Thousands of Syrian refugees have arrived in Canada in the last couple of months. So what's the difference between refugees and immigrants? Ellen Coles takes a look.
Thanks, Ellen. While most of us would happily snap photos with our smartphones, a man in Halifax prefers doing things the old-fashioned way. Ed Halverson has more. Ed?
Thanks, Ed. Did people actually do that back in your day?
Yeah, I remember doing that back in high school.
Speaking of old structures,
hey, that's not
it's
nice.
been almost a year since the Big Lift project started on the McDonald Bridge. While Halifax Harbour Bridges says they are making progress, there still have been a few bumps along the way. Nick Bedore has the update.
Thanks, Nick. Thankfully, it takes me less time to repair when I'm injured.
Yeah, and hopefully it costs a lot less too.
Yeah. So I hear you did a story about a neighborhood in Halifax that wants more recreation space.
That's right. We'll see that story, and we'll meet a painter who's blending her heritage with her art. Welcome back. Thanks to the drummers who came out to our campus this week to celebrate Black Heritage Month. City Council is looking at a motion to make more room for sports to be played on the Halifax Peninsula. I spoke with residents who are pushing for this. This is Lemerchant St. Thomas Elementary School. It's set to be demolished in June to make way for a new school that's supposed to be finished by 2018. But some people say the school's gym is going to be too small for the surrounding community. David Jakeman is the chair of the School Advisory Council.
They have to go off the peninsula to practice, and that tells me that there aren't enough gym facilities on the peninsula for the population that's here.
Right now, Citadel Rec is the only large-scale gym in the South End area. In the motion from Council, groups such as Metro Hurricanes Basketball and Halifax City Soccer Club, who has 850 winter participants, are actively looking for additional venues. The current plan calls for a 5,000 square foot gym, but Jakeman wants to see that increased and possibly doubled. He says with the current proposed size, there simply isn't enough room to play a full-scale game and have an audience.
They are all relatively small and they are all booked solid. Or if they're not booked solid, they're not booked because they're not big enough.
City Councillor Way Mason tabled the motion on January 26th, with a vote set for Tuesday. Dave Napier is a local basketball coach. He agrees with the lack of gyms on the peninsula.
So make them bigger, make them smaller, just make more of them and get them open. When I was a kid growing up in Halifax, there's probably 20 of them, right? So we're driving our kids to sports events. We're raising our kids in the back of vehicles.
The province covers the cost of a standard 5,000 square foot gym. Any additional space would have to be covered by HRM Recreation.
If we decide to make that gym at that space bigger, it's another $500,000.
But a bigger gym would be a much better benefit for the community. So hopefully HRM will invest money in that facility.
Scott Hastings, WTV News, Halifax.
We actually have an update on that story. On Tuesday night, City Council voted to fund the expansion of the size of the gym.
Now our friends in first year have the events that you need to check out. Thanks, Alistair. West African cultures are rich with art and symbolism, and there is a local artist who is finding her own inspiration. Olesia Shivikova joins us now with the story. Olesia?
Thanks, Olesia. What beautiful art.
Time now to tell you about an investigative project that we're about to launch. For the last 5 months, we've been looking into the issue of land title in the community of North Preston.
It might surprise you to learn that many people there do not have legal title to land. Land that has been there in their families for generations. Land that they pay taxes on. That means that they can't sell it or legally pass it down to their children. We spoke to residents, historians, and legal experts to show how people are still affected by this historic wrong.
Our public launch for this project takes place on Monday, but here's a sneak peek. If you want to see more, come to our launch. It's Monday, February 22nd at noon here at NSCC's Waterfront Campus Theater.
Well, that's our final show. Wow, I can't believe how much we've done over the past 2 years.
It really has been a whirlwind experience, and I want to thank you all for tuning in. Next year, we have an all-new crew with all new stories.
That's right, Scott. And let's end this year with a look at some of the antics when the instructors weren't around.
Okay, roll the video and goodbye.